even start. Yeah, it's rolling. Okay, we're rolling. Smooth. Yeah. Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, along with Kathy and Lorraine for Ask a Crafter. We actually, I thought, okay, so I had the girls over. Okay, we're going to do a show. We're just going to do one. I promise, just one. And then I'm like, that's going to use up all the questions. I'm like, oh, man, we still have questions in this jar. I thought we were going to get them and get caught up. Oh, no. And we're not even caught up because I still have like quite a few. I haven't pulled questions since the last time we got together and printed them out because honestly, I'm very overwhelmed. I'm feeling quite overwhelmed. I apologize.
You got a lot of jobs.
Just wanted to tell everybody I apologize if you've asked questions over the last 2 months. I haven't printed them off yet. I'm still trying to get through these, and I just need a lesson in time management or something. Anyway, that's where we're at. Oh, speaking of, I just wanted to let you know, because a lot of people want to know how to get a hold of me, and then sometimes I get some angry messages on my Facebook page saying, I sent you an email yesterday, why haven't you replied? You know, and I'll tell you what, if you want to get my attention quicker, leave a comment on a video. That's what I check. Check that several times a day. Facebook messages I only answer a couple times a week, so you post it right here on the YouTube watch page, right? Like leaving a comment, that's the best way to ensure that I will see your comment or your question.
Which still doesn't necessarily mean that it will be within moments of you posting.
Yeah.
She has a lot on her plate.
I just wanted to put that there just so, you know, if anybody does have a quick question, then that's the best place to post it, because I scan through that a couple times a day, and Facebook is kind of, it's down on the list as far as, you know, when other things have been tended to. That's when I get to that, so. Yeah, I'm definitely not perfect, and I'm doing the best I can, guys. All right, Lorraine, what do we have? Oh, what's that?
There's enough time. We still need to mention heirloom, right?
Well, we will be at the Heirloom Show, but the giveaway was last show, right?
Right, I know, but we at least want to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Coming.
Oh, I should probably start
Wednesday.
Yeah,
we have to
start. Wait, do we have to? No, we just keep rolling. Okay,
We'll just keep rolling.
We'll just keep rolling. Train wreck.
Green.
And I want to do this show live.
Just
Can you
real.
imagine?
It's not a train wreck. It's just real.
But first, you gotta watch us like drink coffee for 20 minutes and chit chat about chickens.
Yeah.
Yes, so we'll be at Heirloom June 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's West Springfield, Massachusetts at the Big E. I'll be teaching watercolor and stamping classes on Friday the 5th. There is still room. If you go to heirloomproductions.com, you can sign up. Hopefully there'll still be spaces left, so don't delay. And we'll see you at the show. I think we should do a meetup. You know, like maybe I'll meet up at Chili's or Michael's or something after, like on Friday night or Saturday night or something. I think that would be fun. We should all figure out a date and time to do that.
That sounds good.
You know, some margaritas at Chili's or something.
Oh, yeah.
That would be cool.
Great.
Very cool.
All right, what do we have, Lorraine?
Greenie Lee. Lindsay, I really appreciate you answering all of our questions. I wanted to ask you about encaustic paintings. Have you tried it? Any tips or advice before I dip into it?
I haven't done much. I've done some, I did some little workshops when I was teaching children. We just did kind of like intro to encaustic, kind of like after we did batik, just to kind of use up some of those waxes. Because you can mix paraffin wax with oil paint, and you can do like encaustic techniques like that, or you can melt crayons and stuff. But no, I really don't have much in the way of advice. I think on the Blick Art Supplies channel, they probably have some tutorials, and also on their website they have lots of videos on how to use different things. There's a company called RNF Encaustics. I think they probably have some videos that you could check out, but I would search for somebody that uses that as their main medium, because there's a lot to learn, and I really have only scratched the surface of that. So.
Okay, Connie Northcut says, hi Lindsay, can you tell me where I can find a watercolor storage rack or shelving that will hold 22 by 30 inch paper?
You could order it from an art supply company. It will be kind of expensive. You may luck out and be able to buy a display from an art store. Usually when stores go out of business, you can score those. I never hope for an art supply store to go out of business, because I mean they're so few and far between, but those would be two good choices. I have one that's poster board size that I got when a Rite Aid went out of business, and that's really handy, but it's not quite 22 by 30. Poster board's a little bit smaller than that. So, you know, or you can make it yourself, which would probably be the cheapest option, other than buying it, you know, from a closing down store.
Okay, D. Brooks, 1955 blog says, hi ladies, is there a way to wash and reuse Versamark pads.
Yes, because you get embossing powder on it sometimes, and they get all yucky. So what I do is I rinse it off, and I'll use a little dish soap if I have to, if like there's still gritty and grainy from embossing powder or glitter spills or whatever. And then I just blot it dry with a paper towel, and then I add straight glycerin, vegetable glycerin to it, because there'll be enough moisture in the pad from the water to kind of thin out that glycerin. And then after that, for re-inking, you can use a water glycerin mix, or you can even just add a little bit of glycerin to it and work it in with a back of a spoon or something. So, yeah.
May asks, I've got a bunch of gel pens with ink, but it does not work. Do you know if there's any way to save them, or should I just trash them?
Bad news on that one. I have never reliably gotten gel pens to work again. Have you?
No.
No, they're pretty much toast. Don't buy them ahead. Don't stock up. Buy, buy one white gel pen, and when it's dry, when it's used up, buy another white gel pen. It's just not, you can't stock them up. I don't know what it is. If like the balls corrode in them or something.
Yeah,
but,
I don't
or
know
the ink just glues the balls
yeah.
shut or what. But I have the hardest time with gel pens as well.
Jeanette Arlen, hi ladies. I'm just wondering what the biggest luggage tag punch you can buy is. Being in the UK, I can only find 2.5 inches, as I've seen Lindsay using what looks like a larger one. And if so, where can I buy one like hers?
Gee, like luggage tag punch. You only punch. I have die cuts. I'm wondering, or maybe she means the shipping tags that I use. Those I order already cut from Paper Mart, but like probably in an office supply store. I know Paper Mart does have a freight forwarding service. If anybody's interested in that, just leave a comment below and say, Lindsay, I'd like to know about Paper Mart's freight forwarding service, and I will give your email to my contact at Paper Mart, and they will get you in touch with the shipping department. But a local office supply store would have shipping tags available. There are dies. Ellison makes a scallop top tag and also a pointy top tag, and they're big dies, and each die has 3 different sizes on it, and that might be what you mean when you said that I was using a larger one, because the largest tag punch I have is only maybe 1.5 inches long, maybe like 3/4 of an inch wide.
Yeah.
You don't have a big tag punch, do you?
I do have a bigger one, but it's not any bigger than the one that she said that she's seen or has.
Oh, but you know what? The Stampin' Up has like a top of a punch, right?
Yeah, the top of the
Right,
punch.
yeah, and Stampin' Up has
a
demos
couple
all
different
over.
ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kathy's a Stampin' Up demo now. If you guys need to order Stampin' Up stuff, Kathy can take your order. So, yeah, just do you have a website or anything? For
Not
Stampin'
yet.
Up?
Not yet. I gotta decide if I'm gonna do that or not, because you have to pay for it. So.
Yeah. Do you want? Would you want people to contact you through the comments here if they wanted to order Stampin' Up?
Yeah, sure.
Or should I put-
If they want to, sure.
Or I could put
certainly.
your. Do you have a Stampin' Up email or something I could put in the video description where people
not
can
yet,
contact you?
I figured I'd decide all that if
Yeah.
I was gonna do and have it all tie into one thing.
Yeah, or make an extra email so in
right.
case you get spam botted or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I get so much junk in my email.
But there
it's not
is
even
they
fun.
have a couple different. I think they just have 3 now that just are different tag toppers, like the standard, just the kind of dog ear cut off, and then the waffly one, and then a pointed one, I think.
Yeah, and when you like trim your paper to the width, and then you just pop it in and
But you
cut
could
it
do
once.
any width as far as wide as it go, and I'm not quite sure.
Oh, you punch it twice?
No, but you could put this in and get just a little.
Oh, so you
tip.
center
it
it
doesn't
up.
have to be. Yeah, it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
that
Okay.
same width all the time. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure quite how wide it is, because I don't have one of those yet.
Yeah.
I have a teeny tiny little Stampin' Up tag that I like. It's really cute. It's like 1/4 of an inch wide or something. It's teeny.
Cody Doll. I love using black and white for the watercolors. I'm using a Crayola set, and the black isn't pure black, and it's yucky. I can't wait to get better watercolors. Just need to get a blank pan. I have tubes of cheap watercolors waiting.
Is she looking for a good black?
Well,
Or-
maybe there's not really.
Oh,
I
Cody,
don't know
that
if
could be
there's
a he. I don't know.
question there, but
okay,
maybe
first,
about black.
I will tell
I don't even
you.
use black.
I don't use black. I don't. I mix my own
And I
black.
thought that was weird, like, because some time ago, I was like, what about black? You didn't say black.
But you know what you might actually prefer? What about getting some like India ink, and then you can do like almost like a Chinese brush painting, and then the nice thing about that is it will be permanent when it's dry, so you can wash over it with watercolor and not have yucky mud.
Oh,
So that's probably what I would recommend. And then you keep it in a bottle, squirt out what you need, just the amount you need, and it's pretty cheap too. I think it's going to be cheaper than even buying black watercolor, which I don't think will be that useful to you. But that would be my opinion. But you could always buy like a pan, like a half pan of Cotman or which is the lower priced Winsor & Newton paints. Black doesn't tend to be a very expensive paint because it's a carbon based color and it's not expensive to make. So if you could get a good tube or pan of it for less than like the cost of many other colors, just because the pigment's not very expensive. All right.
Okay. Bridgeton 1 says, "Hi Lindsay, always a great amount of info from you gals. Can you please give some more uses for the hot press watercolor paper? I have the Faberino paper, but I am timid about using it. Thanks."
I generally use hot press watercolor paper for stamping because there's not so many grooves in it, and you can make a really good contact between your rubber stamp and the paper, and then I'll watercolor on top of that. But you can paint on it. I do notice that hot press paper does tend to want to buckle a little bit more. I think that the tooth and the texture on your rough paper and your cold press paper kind of even out the tension of the surface so that it's not likely to warp. So that's the only thing about the hot press paper. That's why I typically use it for stamping. You guys use hot press at all?
No.
Use watercolor pencils too. Anything you want more smooth detail, or you want your paint to run a little bit more because there's less texture to stop your paint from flowing. So anytime you want a technique like that. So, or if you plan on doing a painting and adding stamping to it later, then go for the hot press.
What about the melted crayon thing? Does that always have to be on canvas, or could you do that on paper?
You could do it
paper
on.
hold up on?
I don't think you want anything that's it's going to be heavy. So you'll need to adhere to something to mount it. I don't think a good quality watercolor paper will cost you about the same as canvas. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I think.
Said if she was, already had it and wanted to use it up. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, why not?
I've been wanting to try that.
Oh, you've never done that?
But no.
Use a heat gun, not your hairdryer. Hairdryer will blow the paint everywhere.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's one of those Pinterest things. Oh, use your hairdryer and melt the crayons. Yeah, what they don't show you is the back of your bathroom after you've heated it with a hairdryer. Use a heat gun, for goodness sake. Oh man.
Dina, I'm just beginning to make occasion. Yeah. Occasion cards.
I'm so glad that Bridgeton love the amount of info that we give them. We've almost started over. We're stumbling over our questions.
It seems like all the focus is on the front and the inside is left completely blank. Is that correct? Do you just freehand a message or what? I'm confused. I used to store-bought cards with a sentiment inside, and you pen a small note and sign it.
I usually leave mine blank and then I write on the insides. What about you guys?
Yeah, that's what I usually do, is leave them blank.
I almost always decorate the inside of mine.
Oh, yeah.
And depending on, I write kind of poems and stuff depending on what the occasion is. Then I print it on the computer because my writing, as my mother would tell you, is atrocious.
No, it's not.
So it is. It's bad. But yeah, I usually put some kind of stamping or decorating. But a lot of what I do for cards are, birthday cards for kids' parties and stuff.
So you don't need a whole lot of.
But Lindsay, you usually she puts another piece of paper or a note thing in and writes on that so that you can take that out and still have the card.
Oh yeah, I'll put a sticky note sometimes. If I know somebody might want to reuse a card, I'll just put a sticky note in there, write my note on it, and then they can toss the note and reuse the card if they want to.
Yeah, people like that. I do that a lot.
I sell a lot of cards, and I find having the insides blank makes them sell better because they're more useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So. Right. In that case, that would work.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so it's completely up to you, is what the survey says. Ding, ding, ding.
Emily Clauser, do you know if there's any toned watercolor paper? If so, where can I buy it?
They used to make toned watercolor paper. It would be tan, gray, a very pale green.
That'd be kind of cool.
But I haven't seen it lately, and I even looked in a catalog and on a website after I saw that question come in because I thought that can't be right. There's so much more stuff now than there ever was before, but that's one thing where they've pulled it back. And I think it's because you can always get toned pastel paper and toned other art papers. And when you're doing watercolors, which is a transparent medium, when you tone the paper, it cuts down the vibrancy. So I don't think they have it very much, but there's no reason you can't do a wash of a staining color, just dilute it and then paint on top of it if you want to tone it yourself. like you do like phthalo green, which is a staining. Like your more vibrant colors, you just wash them way down, and then just give a coat of that, let it dry, and then paint on top of it. Or ink. You could use India ink too.
Lisa MR40. Hello, ladies. I have a question about tube watercolors. Can you use them straight right out of the tube, or do you have to let them dry out first? Thanks for all your great videos, Lindsay.
You can do either. It's completely up to you. I find that if I'm working with a student grade watercolor, then it's better to squeeze out as I need it. Oh, no problem. Because they'll tend to crack in the palette and then pop out. They don't adhere to the palette very well. But with artist quality paints, I always squeeze it out, let them dry, and then use them from the palette because they have more binder, less filler. They'll grip to the palette really well. They're not going to dry out completely, and I'll get much more use out of them that way. I won't waste as much as I do with the student paints. So.
Okay, Louisette Walaswelawski.
That's a pretty name.
Yeah. Louisette. My question is, how would you make flat Christmas ornaments that you can write on, and can they be made of air dry clay?
Oh yeah, just roll out a slab of the air dry clay. I'd cut it with a cookie cutter or trace a template with a little tissue blade or something, and yeah, then you could write on it after it's dry. You could stamp on it while it's wet and actually leave like some impressions. That poor woman probably sent that in back in November, and we're just now reading it. Oh, good luck. Hope you made some Christmas ornaments this year. At least you'll know for next year. But
be a good summertime project.
What was the clay ornaments that you did? What kind of clay was that?
Polymer.
Polymer
Yeah,
clay.
that's pretty much what I use. I'm not that creative. I don't do that much clay work. I just keep a few kinds on hand, and yeah, I don't do it very often. It's hard to work with clay down here in the fall because it's so cold that the clay stays so stiff and it's hard to work with, and I just don't like lugging all my stuff upstairs because I like to keep my mess kind of corralled into one area.
Okay, Bridgeton1 says, Lindsay, I have another question. My family has been doing jigsaw puzzles this winter. What is your thought on sealing them for framing? I have seen YouTube videos about using Mod Podge. I'm wondering if I can use an acrylic gloss medium varnish. Thanks again. It's getting warm. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mod Podge, glue, acrylic varnish. They make something called Puzzle Saver. It'll all work. It's all about the same thing. It's all like clear PVA glue when it dries. So, yeah, that's what I would do.
All right. Sounds good. Beautiful butterfly. Oh, that's nice. I am wanting to make wire bangles. Do you have any techniques and tips for these?
There's a new thing that came out. I don't know if it was this year or last year. Honestly, I can't remember. But it was by Artistic Wire, and it's a wire jig that's like, it's a circle, and you can wrap your wire back and forth between pegs and come up with some cool designs to make bangles. You can also buy just like a bracelet form, or even just find something that is about the same size as your wrist, and then use that for a form. Wrap the wire around it, hammer it so that it doesn't come out of shape, and make your own molds that way. Or if you know someone with a lathe, they could make you a wooden bracelet form that you can wrap your wire around and make some forms that way. So I'd be creative, But check out the Artistic Wire bracelet jig and see what you think about that, because that it's not that expensive, and if you can find something already made and just get without the learning curve, then why not?
Okay.
Angela Velasquez. Hello, girls. I'm glad to see you together. My question is, I want to start making Lamport beads. What supplies do I need?
I started off with a kit from Fuseworks. It's Diamond Tech is the name. Diamond, like diamond ring. Tech, Tech, and they have a kit which has a torch, glass rods, your tools, which could get quite pricey, and the cooling blanket. And I think that it was probably between $100 and $150. It was a Christmas present, but I think that was about the price. And that was a great starter kit. You probably will also want some goggles to protect your eyes, and maybe a leather apron, just in case you have glass that kind of shocks back. The only thing that you absolutely need that doesn't come in the kit would be MAP gas, MAPP gas. You can get it at any hardware store. But that's probably the most economical way. Now my Fuseworks torch, the little lighter, the little thingy that makes a spark, went bad, but they sent me a new one, so that worked out great. And that is all the time we have for today. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and until next time, happy crafting.